All right, everybody, welcome back to nice, light and fluffy fun time, YouTube tea time, take 2. YouTube was so awesome. I think we broke it last night. We were having so much fun. Hey, David, welcome back. It was us and David hanging out. We were the only 2 people on all of YouTube, we think. I'm not really sure. That's totally unsubstantiated, but it sounds fun and dramatic. So I'm just going to run with it. So Brandon, yeah, that's why you couldn't connect, buddy. It just, YouTube exploded last night.
We didn't even know till like
we had
almost
no idea.
till the end when Igor showed up and
yeah, Igor popped in at the last minute and said it wasn't working in Spain. Turns out it wasn't working all over the place.
Then we checked and realized, oh, none of the YouTube video opens.
So David, you're a super special guy. You were the only person on YouTube that it was working for. And us, I guess. I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know what's the because we just
it stayed recorded and everything too, right?
And stream. Yeah.
The stream worked. I don't know. Really weird.
Interesting though. We really got a chance to see YouTube breakdown.
I'm pretty sure we broke it. I'm sticking with that version. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Are you guys drinking any tea?
Yes, we have a gorgeous, we're going to do a complete redo, okay? We didn't even change the tea. We stuck with Tian Jian. I loved it so much.
Right, last night we were both like, oh my God, that was so good.
I haven't had it in so long, so we stuck with that. I'm going to get the doodly-doot kettle on. Well, you guys, let me know what you're brewing tonight, if you're brewing anything, or maybe you're having a cocktail. Maybe you're having, I don't know, whatever you're having. I bought a Gua Sha kit from Lanshin.
What?
Oh, cool.
That's so efficient.
That's really quick, dude. Next one we'll have to do is like a follow-along clinic.
Right?
No, just kidding. Just kidding. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're not going to start doing live Gua Sha. Cool. What is Lanshin? Is that
probably a brand or something?
I don't know.
Not sure.
I have no idea. So there's the tea story. I didn't talk about it at all. I'm going to let this roll again, guys. But yeah, there's the leaf. I took that yesterday, getting ready for the live under nice bright light. So you can see that gorgeous dark red-brown leaf. Some of them a little bit to the red side, and most of them really nice and dark. And yeah, and then I helicopter in. This is just enjoy the tea scene. Look at that. Look at that rolling in over the tea, the red-brown leaf. And then a couple shots from the website. The link is still down below if you want to go and check out this tea on our website. And I'm going to give you the liquor color here live in a few minutes. So,
right.
Yeah.
We both wear a shirt today. It's not because it's a serious, only because we sit still this afternoon for so long and we're like, oh, so chilly. Got to change from t-shirt to shirt. So
yeah. And Actually, I'm going to tell them the truth. Actually, she has a theory, a superstition, that if I wear a shirt, I am less effective. I'm less awesome than I usually am when I do a live. So I wore a shirt today specifically to dispel this vicious rumor of my shirt affecting my YouTube effectiveness as a co-host. So I'm going to crush that tonight. You guys can give me some feedback as we go along throughout the night. If you think I'm starting to lag a little bit or really losing my edge and become boring or not fun to watch and start to, if you feel like the shirt is doing that, let me know in the comments so that I can, so that she can say, see, I told you so, right? Because
sometimes he become, because wearing a shirt, it feels like
this. It feels really like this.
This is a meeting. We got to be serious and stuff.
Yeah.
And
so I'm going to probably pour on a little extra goofiness tonight. Well, the kettle boils. So Brandon is finishing off some Tian that he started this afternoon. One of my favorite aspects of Gong Fu, which I don't know if you're Gong Fu, but I often just have that a bit and then come back to it, right? And but might break out some Shu Pu'er. Nice one.
Ooh,
nice.
Nice.
So that's why we chose the Tian Jian. It's a dark tea that doesn't keep me up too much.
Yeah, last night was pretty good, huh?
Yeah, no trouble.
Didn't have
Not
any
too much.
problem.
No.
Even though Tian Jian, because Tian Jian as a dark tea, it has way less fermentation compared to Shu Pu'er.
Right.
But,
so last night, no trouble sleeping. Tonight, I'm going to push it one step further. Today, I'm going to admit to you guys, I had a little nap, and I'm going to have this tea. So we'll see if it doesn't push me over tonight, then I'm gold. This is definitely a safe evening tea.
This has a couple of years age, so.
Yeah, that's true. Too. It's not super hot off the press, so to speak. But man, the age, this thing is so yummy. I can't wait to smell it. And like we just had it last night, so I remember the smell. I'm going to tell you up front, we're looking at smokiness, but don't think pine smoke like Lepsam. Think log cabin, hearth, big wood fire that's been burning there for decades and decades. That aged wood fire is sunk into the wood and slowly comes out and just smells gorgeous. I'm gonna throw it in here so it can warm up. Nice, get out of the way there.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, the little tea caddy. We got a little pretty small real estate to work with here, so I got to be pretty defensive of the space.
Right. You choose the setup today.
Yeah, I figured since I'm brewing, did anybody notice that I'm brewing? I'm brewing. David, you noticed, all right, we know. Oh, smell that. That's so good. I went with the same amount and everything. It was just out of the park last night, and it lasted for the whole session. So yeah.
Well, while he brews, I just want to quickly talk about this kind of a holiday live sessions we planned it. Eventually, we come up with like a schedule that we publish on newsletter and is coming to our website soon of our live schedule. That
you guys asked if we could schedule stuff back in July, I think. We did.
Finally.
Better late than never.
Right. And the concept is basically we're kind of trapped inside. Here it seems in Ontario it's getting a little bit...
Sounds like a movie plot. Concept is we're trapped inside a house and we cannot go outside or we will catch a disease.
Yes, that's why we gotta find some entertainment. And live session mostly just sip some tea and chit chat with your guys and so all those topics I found were just some interesting things that we can share with each other. It's more like sharing my experience with those, and you guys can tell me anything regarding either like today's Gua Sha or in the future we want to talk about how to handle stress or stuff. Just some topics for us to talk.
Yeah, if there's something you want us to chat about or you want to chat about, let us know.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of holiday related topics because it's quite a new way for us to spend this holiday season, indoors and with quarantines and stuff, I don't. Many family probably are not able to travel as usual to have a proper families together. Lots of changes and.
That's right. So we will take the place of your family.
I was just
No,
talking
just kidding.
about some.
Just kidding.
It could cause some stress. That's what we were thinking about in
Yeah.
November, talking about stress.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that kind of topics, and it's just basically just hang out and.
David said he loves the idea. He says it's a great time, this time of the evening, for a nice little evening wind down. So we'll try and keep it mellow in that case. I'll try to keep the grips on the energy level so I don't throw it right through the roof and get you all revved up right before bed. Kind of thing.
He has to make sure his
Brandon,
energy
yes,
level.
evening shows are more work friendly for me. LOL.
Same here.
Cool. Yeah, they work for us too. And I don't know if you noticed, but if you check out that schedule that Jem was talking about, we tried to move it around a bit too. So instead of we were doing we are doing the more formal, right? We started doing those monthly sort of presentations of varying topics. If you have stuff for those too that you want to see covered a little
Right.
more in depth, obviously those are pretty focused tea related. But yeah, let us know about those. But those are Thursdays, typically some sort of a late Thursday in the month, not necessarily, but Thursdays at 7 is what we chose for those. The Sunday tea book, obviously on Sunday at 1 p.m. So, but these are going to be a bit more random. And yeah, typically in the evening, I think, is a good one for
works
most
for
people.
us.
We are trying to pick it so that it works a bit for the us in Eastern Zone, but also try to pick it like I don't think it's not brutally it's not brutally late in Europe right now, so they might be able to join. It's a little bit early over on the West Coast for those folks that are out west. So we try and like kind of thread the needle. All right, let's get on to this
Thread
tea.
the needle. Oh,
So
this tea-
first check out, this is infusion 2 in the Gaiwan, infusion 1 in my cup. I didn't even wait. I'm just so excited to get into this tea.
I'll try
Look at
not
that
to
liquor
be
color.
very
I'm going
quiet.
to try and look at you guys through it. No,
Right.
you can't see me. But look at that gorgeous amber, coppery, clear, resilient. And the smell, guys, the smell. Remember that
I found this tea just has
log
an effect
cabin?
on me. Beside all those smells and stuff, when I sip that, I just want so relaxing. I'm just having some tea.
multi-grain, log cabiny, a bit of hay.
David
Booyah.
said he would love anything on Chinese medicine. Wow. Oh, that's cool. Because that's what I kind of up my alley, and I'd like to talk about those too.
Yeah. I should do one on my encounter with my up close and personal encounter with TCM in Beijing with your doctor. Like her and her mom have a long-time doctor who's very, very good. And his son, correct? I was sick, so I'm foggy, but I think I met with his son, and then we went to the chief, the datudo.
There's-
That's big potato in Chinese, guys. I'm getting there.
Yeah, so we have a kind of like a family doctor, but it's not like on the system kind of family doctor. So a friend and also doctor, he is around your age. So and his father, which is quite old, 80.
I was gonna say that guy was really old.
Yeah, 80-ish, 80. 70 to 80-ish. That's
He
his
looks
father.
like he looks 60
And
tops, dudes.
And
I'm telling you.
and his both generations are TCM doctors, and his grandfather used to be a royal doctor in royal doctor. You know, a doctor in the
Imperial?
imperial in
Royal,
the
whatever.
Forbidden Palace to service the royal families. So that's kind of their family
Pre-PRC.
right, their family legacy kind of thing. And he is
So are they a line of doctors? Like a Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah, 3-4 generations. It's a family kind of thing. His
that's really
grandma, my daughter's grandma, was like my role model. She passed away a couple of years ago, but when I was still in Beijing, like 10 years ago. She was like 92, 93, and every time we went to their home, and she always opens the door, greet us with tea and stuff, like 90 something, and had cancer, colon cancer. Is quite common in older people because all the organs are kind of getting old, right? So it's normal. So she got the surgery and everything and recovered, and actually lived 5 years after that. Eventually passed away pretty peacefully. But the whole state, you know, she's
really vital, right? And acute.
Yes. So
I noticed that with the tea people, we visit when we go to tea regions too. We visit these tea people who are, you know, often in their, you know, 80s, low 80s or whatever. Like they're not young, they're not super young at all, right? Mr. Su in Sichuan, who does the Sugong cha that we get, he hosted us, and then we bebopped all over.
He was in his 80s, huh?
He's in his 80s, and we're bebopping in his van. So he's got a driver driving us around. We're in the back of the van. He's in the front of the van. He's chatting with us, and we're visiting all these places. And he gets out, he goes, and he talks to the producers or wherever we're going. I'm trying to remember. Did he come with us to Zhangcha?
Yes, he did.
Xiongdi, right?
He showed us
he
around
introduced
there
us to
too.
the guy at Xiongdi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but
perfect.
anyway, the point is it's so vital. Acute, not just acute, like mentally acute, which is great for 80s, but just physically really capable, walking around, vital, good posture, everything. Just really, and whatever is more than just him too. There's another, of course, Shatai in Taimu. Another example, like they have to force her to not grab the ladder and go and pluck tea out of her white tea trees. Some of them are pretty tall, they're pretty old. I think in our video we showed it, but just so acute, vital, and cute and friendly too, right? Really, like you said, like
they come up and serve
really
tea
gracious
to us,
hosts,
right?
yeah, really, and you feel awful. There's 80-year-olds serving you tea. You should be serving them tea, right?
And she just walk. I think in the video we probably captured that she walked all the way up to the second floor and grabbed down the fruit and asked you to try the fruit. Remember the pipa? Pipa or something.
Yeah, pipa, and then she also, ironically, in Taimu, gave me black tea. It was so cute. I was like, So yeah, Brandon likes the evening shows, and David still wants. So we'll fit some Chinese medicine in for sure. That'd be really cool. We love that topic too.
Yeah.
And by we, I mean her. I don't mind it either. But I don't have much to offer except to be the guy asking the questions, which I guess is pretty good. And Brandon is sad.
You used to be the other.
Because he can't make the Sunday tea reads,
Right,
but he does watch. Okay, cool. You're watching them later, so yeah.
Don't worry. So that's the good thing with those kind of live and stuff. It's always like there, and you can.
I'm gonna just warn you, Brandon. If you ever get back and you don't see the Sunday live, don't panic. We're just doing a thing where we might move it around a bit so it lands in a different place in YouTube. But don't worry, we're not gonna leave you out. Okay, it will be there eventually. If it's not there right away, okay. So I just don't want him to think we read that and then we're like, he doesn't come, let's get rid of those. That's not what's going on, buddy. Not at all.
Right.
Okay.
Anyways, okay. So David, you will have a chance to review what we talked about yesterday. So my content is more of a rough line and stuff, and
maybe David has questions.
Right.
Thought of some like, hey, what about this? What about that? I'm a little bit, I don't know about you, you're the one answering the questions, but
right.
Anyway. Oops, sorry guys, a little bit loud.
But again, my
sorry about that.
most content depends on your questions or stuff. I'm just random structure kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
throw out the
if
questions.
anything, I kind of, because I'm familiar with the TCM, Chinese traditional medicine content or names or stuff that I just glance over it and didn't explain much. Just be sure to point out so I can explain. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm gone.
Don't worry.
I'm back. Try it again.
Yep.
I'm gone.
Oh, weird. Oh, I know what's going on.
Okay.
You blurred us out there. Hi guys, sorry about that. We were just in and out.
Wow, I'm so glad that the tech support is right next to me.
Yeah, we gave her the remote control, so she's gonna drive the slides. So you know, it's gonna be more fun like that. We'll have a bit more of those unexpected dropouts where we disappear.
Right. Hopefully not as often.
I'm just kidding.
So talk back about Gua Sha, which is the reason I want to talk about this is because it kind of gets really trendy in the beauty community. Like if you look at even Vogue magazine or Bazaar or even Sephora is carrying Gua Sha board, and they have many looks. Ayo Maya, I'm really not
Take
good
your
at
time
that.
though if you miss. You gotta let it adapt.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
So this is one of the most popular Gua Sha board that you will see in the West. I really think it's because it looks cute, like a
Did it look like I was looking at it?
Oh yeah. Actually, pretty good effect. And there are many other ones, like many shapes you could find on the market. And I found this one actually. This is for acupuncture points and make that easier. Look like a mini can.
Yeah, like a little cane. It's got the little, made of some kind of stone.
Yes.
Really smooth though.
So fundamentally, Gua Sha, Gua means scraping, and Sha refers to those bruise or the red dot that appear on the skin. This whole thing is talking about scraping the skin with some pressure. And it's often used in China. It's one of the kind of a way of treating patients for Chinese doctors. It's also a very handy tool at home that our parents and often use that when we were little. Kids usually get fever very easy, and sometimes gets cold, really scratchy throat and stuff. We just use Gua Sha, and it kind of helps with the symptom. And there are little things we often do to avoid visit to doctors or hospitals. Kind of also helps save time, because if somebody in the family is sick, it's a lot of energy. And
I was going to say it's not save time. It's because sick kids are super annoying, and they're a lot of work. No, it's not to be mean to the kids, but nobody's super pleasant when they're sick, right? They're on their back. You got to feed them. You got to make sure they do all the stuff they don't want to do.
Oh, but funny thing is, early times, I remember in China, there's a rumor that there are Chinese parents who did Gua Sha on their kids and got reported by neighbors and
in the West here.
In the West,
so they, and the first wave, when they came over, I heard that as well.
Yeah.
For child abuse and stuff.
Child abuse, because there's a bruise and looks really kind of bad, and they were not sure what's going on.
Yeah, you can. And I think the trouble was they weren't able to easily communicate because the parents didn't speak. They didn't speak well.
Right.
So
pretty
scary,
absolutely.
right?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, David said the one he bought has teeth as well. I know that those are good ones. The teeth are for massage your scalp, really good. I sometimes use my hand, and the other side
or she uses this side of the comb. I'm telling them, okay? I'm telling them.
Okay.
When she works on content for you guys, like especially magazine season, right? When Cha Ren comes out, this comb actually used to be this long. Now it's shrunk because she used that so much. That's her concentration comb.
Yes, whenever I'm like, oh, where is my comb? He knows I'm like, my brain is really focused on doing something. I'm surprised I still have hair. I lost a lot of hair. Anyways, where was that? So sometimes you might see, thank you. I forgot to reveal your face.
I'll just do that if it's there too long.
Right.
I just felt like I was getting crowded out by that face, so got rid of it.
Yeah, and sometimes you can see them in translated as scraping or coining or spooning, which like spooning or coining kind of suggests that you could use a coin or spoon to do it. But And also, I think from those names you can guess, like the two you can buy those boards. Those are really handy. Personally, I prefer those like square ones rather than those heart-shaped ones, especially if I'm doing that on my body. I need a good grip. The hard ones is more facial use because the pressure is the space I could hold is better for doing facial rather than the whole back or arm. You can use, sometimes I use my hand. You can use almost any tool at home that
you mean you can use your fingers to do Gua Sha, right?
You can use fingers to do Gua Sha.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I just pinch it a little bit to agitate a little sha out, and that kind of feels release. And you can find anything that is quite thick edge at home, like if you have a...
Like a comb? Can I bring
like
the comb
a comb, the back
See
of
how fat
that,
it
you
is?
can
It's
use
not,
that.
Compared to my finger, it's pretty thick.
Right. And it's, I think the reason it gets trendy, the good thing to say is this way of maintaining or helping us with health and wellness has been used in China for thousands of years. This is considered one of the oldest way of helping people coping with health issues. So it has been not tested on animal, but tested on human for generations and generations.
Yeah, a lot of people over a lot of time.
Yes, and nowadays it's getting even more prolific because the China's healthcare system has a lot of pressure considering the population we have, and the government are more realizing the value of those traditional methods that help people stay healthy, and less medical bill is better.
Yeah, for sure. Especially TCM has a pretty, it still can take care of problems once they arise. It has a great focus on staying healthy and noticing things really early. I notice that when we travel, right? Your mom's always asking me how I feel, but she's looking for really detailed analysis of not just, I feel good, like because I'm not throwing up or I'm not having I was going to say runny poop, but maybe I pick a different topic. But she's looking for really details, like do you have a minor headache at all, or is your mouth dry, or really little things. Because if I pay attention and give her the right details at the right time, she's like, and she knows we're in this climate and blah blah blah. Probably you need a little bit of this, and we can. Something might be coming on. Let's get rid of that ASAP, because we're traveling. We don't want trouble like we had on our 2018 trip, right?
Yes.
So anyway, it's
and
really...
And I think you point out one of the very major difference between the East and West medicine, which Western medicine now is getting more of those, noticing those symptoms early too. But Chinese medicine has a really long history and a very strong system in terms of that, and a strong insist on observing ourselves, right? How are we, do we sleep well, or do we have a lot of dreams, or even types of dream? Every now and then we have nightmare. It's normal, right? It happens, whatever on our mind. But if we're having nightmare almost every night, that indicates something. So that kind of, despite what method, I think, or what approach you're using for helping with health, always observing details of our body. A lot of times our body send out the information or giving you alarm already, but we just dismiss it. We just think, it's normal. We don't take that too serious. Right. So for Gua Sha, a lot of times we use that at home is for little, what I use a lot for early sickness is for cold, flu, and strappy throat, like
sore throat.
Sore throat, right? Sore throat, and personally, I also use that for different
toning, right?
Toning, right? This works better when you're in small number trying to get in shape, because as we age, we notice certain areas tend to grab more fat than other areas. So if I'm 400 pounds, using Gua Sha to do area toning is not realistic. All other weight loss and methods you have to consider first. But if some people like me looks pretty good, pretty fit, pretty slim, but just the most weight on my belly is a little bit past the WHO's suggestion or something, you want to work on those.
Or you got the little...
I do that for my flappy arms. Result is very good. I had a history when I was 10 years ago. I didn't have any diet, shu pu'er and Gua Sha on my belly. I lost 7 centimeters in a week. Of course,
Wow.
Yes, I was really suspicious.
Shocking.
Of course,
Surprised.
my diet, my lifestyle in general is, I would think, quite healthy. I don't.
Wasn't a train wreck, right?
Yeah. So there is some baseline to talk about. Not just we can eat cake a day like crazy and
have a Big Mac and a
right.
supersized fries,
right.
and lose 7 centimeters with a Gua Sha board. That is not going to happen, folks.
Yes, and for us, we use that almost every couple of weeks or months. We do Gua Sha on the back of us as maintenance kind of schedule. And
yes,
that's
we do that.
Pretty. Yeah, that's something we can talk about a little bit in where and how to do it. But first, we could talk a little bit more about the Gua Sha board.
I noticed there's a bunch of other folks, so maybe they missed the intro. So not that there's an intro formal, but just wondering what you're brewing. If you're drinking anything, we're having a nice Tian Jian. The link's down below from our website. Really nice smoky log cabin kind of flavor with some malted grains. Really, we had it last night. We're doing a redo, obviously, so we're just having that again. So let us know what you're brewing.
Usually we change up the tea if we're doing 2 days in a row. But
it was so good. I just wanted to have some more.
Same here.
And also, if you have any questions, shoot them out. Don't be shy. This is a really informal kind of thing. We're doing these just for fun and hanging out, having tea. So don't be shy to shoot out your questions. And so David has one. Speaking of questions, he says, is Gua Sha effective for acne-prone skin? I will assume that anyone with current breakouts shouldn't use. That's a great question.
That's actually a great question. And the answer is yes and no. In terms of acne-prone skin, which I have myself, I'm a really oily skin, as you probably noticed with all the shine. So first, if we're breaking out and our face is already very red and sensitive, do not use that on the face. A lot of times people think about beautifying or stuff, including when we talk about facial Gua Sha for all the benefit, we're talking about literally on the face. But in terms of the TCM, the concept is what's appearing on your face is depending on your body. So if I have acne on my face, it's not just area. And you can notice some people only break out, say,
maybe here.
Ladies usually have period around those are hormonal ones, right? And teenagers, a lot of them have forehead, right? Or some people don't have forehead, only the cheeks. Of course, primarily self-hygiene and all that. But when that kind of acne breakouts and stuff happen, we usually do Gua Sha somewhere else in the body to help with it. If it's teenager style red breakout and stuff, I will mention a spot later that is often used for cold and flu, and also very good for regular to help with the face breakout, especially on the neck and stuff. It's kind of considered a heat symptom.
Breakout on the forehead, you mean?
Forehead. Oh, right. Sorry.
The spots on the neck. That was a little teaser for what's coming.
Right. Well,
where on the neck, though? Stay tuned.
Right. If the breakout is more like a chin or even the jawline, those are more hormonal related. So those Gua Sha wouldn't be the best way to approach it. There are other areas you can do for help.
Right.
Yeah. but for especially teenagers to do the back is even the back line that I'm gonna mention later on would help with those. Yeah, definitely. Oh, I think that's actually a really good thing to raise. And sometimes you will watch those movies talking about Chinese and again qi. So I remember one of the movie scene was some guy got hit on the leg and a Chinese girl just hold his hand and say your qi was disturbed. But the guy was like, oh, but it was my leg who got which get hit by the baseball. Why are you doing like massaging my hand? Right? As she was talking about how the qi was disturbed, that was cute. But there is many people notice when TCM or Chinese people look at things, it's not if headache, we only focus on head.
Right.
Sometimes headache, we focus on food because it's almost like considering the human body like a river system, right? If the blockage appear, like if you look drought in one area, it not necessarily means it's lack of water. It could be just somewhere up the stream got blocked.
Right.
Once you clear that block, this area will be floating like normal.
Flowing.
Flowing. Thank you.
I want to tell a little story about when we were at Burke's.
Oh, right.
Can I? Because he asked I'm going to tell it. Okay. So because that little anecdote she said about it in the movie or whatever, and she said, oh, your chi is disturbed. And why are you bothering my hand? We were at an event, and this is a little bit not related, but it's totally related to what you were just saying about it's not like, oh, you're sore on the shoulder, it's because you need to work on the shoulder only. It can be somewhere else. So we were at an event, and this gentleman, he had something happen to him. I don't know medically what it was. It's his own personal thing, right? We didn't pry, but he passed out. He hit the ground. And he was not a young fella. You did something to his hand. Some people came and helped him get on a stool and just kind of loosen his tie and his shirt. It was a pretty formal gathering. And then you were holding his hand and he said, what are you doing to my, but I want to say he was on the chair, but he was being held and he was like out of it like that, like just not aware, minorly responsive. He was really like dazed. And then you start to press on one of the points on his hand or his wrist. I don't know. I wasn't too close. I was just sort of like kind of terrified.
Yeah, it was pretty scary.
And he asked her, what are you doing? And he starts to come to.
Yes, he lost all his consciousness. He was standing and beside where we were having a tea ceremony.
And just pale.
And pass out on the ground. So people, when people trying to put him on the chair, he still was unconscious.
Unresponsive, yeah.
Yes, of course we call the ambulance. It's just there's a time
right away,
between the ambulance arrived and the guy was just there and he was sweating like all wet.
Cold sweat looking.
I don't know what's exactly look like a stroke, but I don't know. When I touched his
super
hand,
scary.
It was like a
clammy
cold and all wet. The shirt was wet, and he started to have like a facial paralysis symptom. The face started to have
it was loosening.
Not
slacking.
Loosening. It's like a stroking kind of that twist.
Oh, okay.
It started to have a little bit of that. So I just. So since we're waiting for the ambulance, so I just pressed one of the emergency point on his hand, both hands, and I asked the other lady to do it. And he started to have, at least could talk and even...
That was the first thing he said. What are you doing?
Yeah. He said, what are you doing? Where are you pressing on my hand? Why are you pressing my hand? But at least he come back to senses.
Did he speak Chinese to you when he asked that? I didn't.
English, I thought.
Okay.
I
was a bit far away.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Anyway, so when later on when the ambulance arrived, he could actually
communicate
with communicated with some help to get on the
stretcher.
Stretcher, that's right.
Yeah. And as far as we know, he was fine. But I was super freaked out. I never had
people like pass out in front of
right in front of our table. Not right in front, like off to the side a bit, but like you didn't. but it was really scary. Anyway, that's just to say that was a really long story. I was kind of super proud of her, but just to say that.
Show you guys this, right?
No, cool. Show it.
Okay. I know we're always a little bit off the topic, but I think that's just
And let's do the medical disclaimer. This is not medical advice, okay? Like take good care of your body and you know.
And if any emergency, always
Call
call 911. Don't think we know a little bit and could just handle it.
Yeah.
It's just a really handy point where the risk is. There's a natural wrinkle, a line here. And use your own fingers, because I'm 5'9". For people who is 5 feet, we have
show
different.
Them my 4 fingers, your 4 fingers, different.
It's different, right? So use your own body
reference
parts,
point.
a reference point.
Give you a reference point, right? Your own reference point.
Yes, and find this is where the lens is, and you will feel in the middle there's a dent between the soft bone-ish.
Yeah, it's the same 2 bones that you see quite clearly up here, but they run down, right?
Yeah, run down there.
Right in between them?
Yeah, so the horizontal, no,
vertical
line is in the middle.
I wonder if everyone's following along at home. That would be funny. I wish I could see
Why this point is really good in senses if you have sleeping problem, you massage that daily. It helps with sleep.
Lightly?
Just when we just get started, get comfy with this. And feel some pressure, but not hurting too much as the starting point. If people having vomiting or even car sick or stuff, this is the point. Sometimes we strap a ginger around it to help with it. Even with a pregnant lady, early times we use this point to help them.
Oh, for that nauseousness that pregnant ladies sometimes get?
And all that, and this works really well. Or sometimes you have people who is suddenly very grouchy. Sometimes people sometimes they're grouchy, just they don't know why. They just feels angry at almost nothing, that kind of thing. Ladies during menopause could have that or stuff. That's really.
My mom, when she used to watch Donald Trump on TV, or maybe for the next couple months, keeps watching him.
Right, those are the ones. Close
to the radial pulse? ? I don't know. Dave asks, is that close to the radial pulse?
What's a radial pulse?
I think the radial pulse is. We don't know, Dave. Is that the one that's up here? This is the radius. I think the part of your arm, the radius and ulna, the 2 bones in here. There may be one further up. I don't know, but. Oh, I think because that's what we do to do radial pulse. It's a little lower, I think, if I'm following you.
In the middle.
Yeah, it's a little below, and in the middle. So the pulse would be more over here, I think.
Right.
But it's between those 2 tendons or whatever those are. Right. Those 2 little wires.
So basically, we use 4 fingers to find the horizontal line. Use the middle of this to find the vertical line. Where it is crossed is that point.
Yeah, it was the wrist. It's a wrist pulse. So it's a little lower and more centered on the sort of in between in that soft spot. I don't know.
Right. I'm not very good with those.
We'll get a camera so we can do close-ups for these in the future. We'll get right in there.
And draw a little, something.
Yeah, we'll get a erasable. We'll use Sharpie, so it'll take like a month to come out.
So anyways, I don't know what material of Gua Sha board you get. So here I have some display. This is a low grade stone that Phil was not impressed. So I had to show him the real deal.
Yeah, that's the real one. That is stone.
Okay, this is better, the real stone. Looks pretty badass, right?
It is, and it's really smooth and
right.
Anyway, yeah.
And this is.
And these are cold. You want these to be cold, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So in the Chinese sense of have a cooling property and not a hot property. So that one's buffalo horn, right?
Buffalo horn we consider cool.
But you wouldn't use moose horn. First, where you're gonna get it, and second, it's hot.
It's different
right?
texture.
Yeah.
This is
really hard,
almost like a stone kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right, and
almost like ivory.
Right. We have quartz, crystal. Usually we consider those
quartz.
Quartz.
I think it's what you're looking
quartz. And jade. Those are things that
pretty.
has been underground for thousands of years, which we consider they are usually to the cooling side. This is the scary picture later to scare you guys. Not yet. Silver is a really good one. Personally, I found it's really impressive in terms of the effect, but anything you have at home is all fine. You don't have to linger too much. It's almost like a tea, right? Does the cup, the material of the cup affect the flavor of the tea? Yes, but it's a relatively minor effect.
Right, right. Good metaphor.
Right.
Nephrite jade. Cool. I think we both just don't know what that means, so we're
No.
Clearly a kind of jade. I guess, is that the greener?
I gotta look for it.
Yeah, we'll take a note and look that up later. Jade's such a big deal in China. Like, they love the really almost
Right.
pure white one is the super precious one, right?
Yeah, we call that a lamb lard.
Lamb lard jade?
Yeah.
Right.
Yangzhu, that's the best. Oh, in terms of the
Yangzhu?
jade, yeah, it doesn't have jade. There are many grades, different grades of jade, almost like tea. You have a cheap jade and you have a super expensive jade. So it's not necessarily very expensive to get a jade one if that's what you
The concern.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And be sure to lubricate your skin. We want to scrape the skin, but we do not want to scratch the skin. So lubricate with oil, lotion, or even if in some circumstances you don't have any of those, but really need to do a quick Gua Sha, even water or something would help. When we go on tea trips, that's sometimes because bringing oil or extra lotion would be pretty heavy to carry around. So
Yeah.
we only have a Gua Sha board and try to use whatever we have at that time, or even cooking oil. You don't need to spend a good amount of money on oil because the effect doesn't come from whatever you sprayed on your skin.
Yeah, if it's getting catch on in the beauty industry, I bet you
They
could
were gonna
spend, right? They're going to
they're gonna-
fleece you. They're going to get out the shears. You can use coconut oil or
Yes,
olive oil.
anything,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter, guys.
Yes.
Mineral oil is really good, right?
Yes. Unless you're allergic to any of the content there.
Right.
So,
Ooh. Is your board made of nephrite jade? Is that what
that's
you're...
what he was saying.
Oh.
Deep green appears black. Whoa.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
Yeah, that should be really pretty actually. Wow. Mine is like $5. This is my favorite. I brought this.
It's really nice, though.
Yeah.
We should mention, we talked about the coining and spooning, but I think we forgot to mention, like, don't use a Western metal spoon.
Oh yeah.
Because that's a bit too sharp. And coins, we think that's probably a bad term for it, because I haven't seen many coins that would be smooth enough. Like, they're pretty sharp on the edge. So
just avoid a sharp edge.
Yeah, avoid sharp edge.
Spooning, because in China we use our spoon, which if you go to a Chinese
they're
restaurant,
porcelain, right?
They're
Yeah.
porcelain and they're thicker
plastic.
edge. There's like a soup spoon.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah. And again, when you are doing that after putting the oil or lubricant lotion on the skin, hold the board about 45 degree or even less. So you don't want to do straight. It's too much pressure. Again, we don't want to hurt our skin. 45 degrees and scrape. One direction only, one way only.
Not back and forth.
Not back and forth like this. We do one way, go back, and do another one. So if this is your first time doing that, we suggest 30 to 50 times, and repeat on the spot to get started and feel how you feel. In terms of how much of the pressure, you want to feel a little pressure but not overly hurt, because when we just get into that, we are not familiar with that kind of pain, and we don't know how to read the pain signal that the body is giving. So
Right.
let's just start gentle and build up to our knowledge. We know, okay, this is what I can take.
I think of exercise when you say that. Look at it just like that. If you've never exercised a moment in your life, and I hope that's not true for all of you, but if you haven't, right, you don't go out and say, okay, today, no matter what, I'm running 10 kilometers. I don't care. what my body tries to tell me, right? Ease into it, learn to listen to your body, warm up to it, etc., etc., right? Take care of yourself.
Yes.
You okay?
I choked a bit.
I'm gonna check the time. No, you're a bit earlier from last night. Last night you, oh no, it's about the same. I looked at the wrong time.
Last night I choked too.
But yeah, ease into it.
Sorry.
And I think one thing you said last night that I really thought was good was, and it's not like a trophy. It's not a contest to see who has the blackest sha or who has the most sha or any of that, right? It's about doing the right stuff at the right time in the right spot.
Yes, and sometimes there's no sha, even you have quite a bit of pressure. It means you're okay in this spot.
Yeah.
You don't have to obsess.
Yay!
Yes, absolutely. And if you're doing that on your face, avoid having sha. If it's turning red and feel a little heat on your face, that is okay. And certain people like me who don't care much about what my face look like with a little sha, so I do that, but I don't recommend other people to do that, right? It's funny because sometimes we have to go out. And
we go shopping and I realize she's got like one on her nose and maybe a couple
I
right.
even do that because
You do
sometimes
these
I
here
have acne
sometimes, right?
here there, so I just like I kind of let it out ASAP rather than sometimes I have one at a time, then this one disappear, another one show up. I would say that's so annoying.
Yeah.
So I just
So
do Gua Sha over there with my bare hand.
So the don't mark your face isn't like it's not like a don't do it because it's going to be bad for you. It's going to take a while, like several days at least to go away. So it's if you don't want to have those on your face, don't do it. But if you're like Jen and you don't care and you're just like whatever, or maybe you've got some great cover up. Right? Not for
it look more like domestic abuse.
Right? Try to hide that. It still has a bruise. People are like, we got a lady over there. We haven't had any trouble.
This is a word to blame.
Yeah, we're to blame for his board. I feel like we should give him a little. Oh, you're going to get to the wear stuff, so we'll give him a little exercise or something he can do.
Okay,
now.
this is the scary picture that I downloaded. One Phil first to see that. Okay, let's.
Do you want it bigger, or is that good enough for folks?
Are you? Because this is too complicated. I don't think I don't recommend any people to follow this line.
Whoa.
You should win an Oscar.
Did that look pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh,
yeah, so this is where we do Gua Sha. Those are called Jinluo in Chinese, and we do in many spots. And those are those areas that if you're a little bit familiar, we call that the qi flows or stuff. That help us.
That's where they get it in all the movies, right?
Yeah, those are really good in terms of a diagnosis, especially for I just want to put the picture here a little bit so you see there are lines, there are different lines and different things. Like when we talk about skin, for example, right, rashes. Some people say every spring I have rashes. And
get a rash.
Get a rash, and it's always on the same spot or stuff. So in Chinese medicine, we look at where that appears, and that gave us some idea of why are we having the rash. Right, rather than if we go to, usually if it's a skin problem, we go to a Western medicine doctor. If there's nothing, like if all the test results looks fine, we don't consider too much and just put on some cream. So he strongly needs to be here.
Yeah, get that out of my way a bit.
Cool. Anyway, so this would be the line that gave doctor some idea if your rash is on the arm. It's quite different than if your rash or eczema.
Eczema.
You're right, it's around neck or stuff. So those are our guidelines in terms of where we do Gua Sha. And sometimes you would notice if we have some migraine headaches on our head, very likely we're not doing Gua Sha on our head because it's already painful. Some people just don't want to take anymore. Right. But that indicates a certain organ needs some help. So we would do the Gua Sha on the outside of your legs, which also help ease your headache. So those are based on this line and this chart. But you don't have to know much. I just wanted to point it out. So even when we're talking about beautifying, anti-aging, or want to just, to look better, depuff or dark circle on our eyes, a lot of times TCM's view is not focused on that area. If we have a dark circle,
go to the source.
Right, that is not because yesterday I slept late, I consistently have dark circle. It means it's your body sending out a message that they need some help somewhere else. It's not just the local, it's not just the vein underneath that skin area. So same with the wrinkles. You might notice some people have wrinkle first at the eye corner.
Crow's feet.
Yeah, crow's feet. Some people have wrinkle first, maybe on the, how do you call this line?
That one I don't know. The smile crease or something?
The smile line. Some
Cheek
people
crease?
have that between the eyebrows. Those are kind of reflects what's your body state. So oftentimes, even for beautifying, for facial massage, we would do Gua Sha on other part of the body. And if you are interested in that, we can do another sessions or things
for specific areas.
Right, like
that might be cool.
Anti-aging.
I think
for
David
your
would like
face,
that. He's
anti-aging. We do somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
and
David was
it's a
asking if
girl's
there's a
topic.
book, if we could recommend a good book on this, on I think on Gua Sha in general and stuff, because he's
Gua Sha, right, or more on.
probably looking for an English book too.
Yeah, that's a little bit hard. I'll look it up, see if there's any good English ones.
It's so weird. Like this, this comes up when we do Sunday, like Sunday Tea Week too.
Yeah.
But it's so weird that it's 2020. It's not like we just bumped into China and got on a boat and like, oh look, there's all these people over here. So much information is not accessible across the cultural boundary. I don't know, either because we dismissed it, because we're arrogant white people, to be really blunt. We spent probably a couple hundred years thinking they were just savages, and now it's just trickling out now. And even actually, to be fair, the Chinese, the modern government, it originally was really hard on TCM, right? They really looked at it, oh, this is old-fashioned, it's not useful, and they really repress it. Now they're realizing this was a big mistake, and there's tons of not reverse science, but now they're looking at, okay, TCM says this, let's do this, let's figure out this the Western science, have a hypothesis, run some controlled experiments and figure out what's going on.
They have so many researchers and studies.
Very interesting studies in Asia.
Science, like the Western science way, that I felt sometimes were not mentioned or shared here.
Again, not very easy to find in the West.
I think in terms of this, I'm not sure if you were talking about Gua Sha or Jingluo. I don't know some good English versions.
What's the other thing you said? Jinghua? What?
Jingluo, like the acupuncture related stuff, because their base, their theory are the same.
Right, okay.
In terms of where to do that. There's one little suggestion I'd like to share with you is if they mention about the acupuncture points and they only mention the points name in codes like SL46 or something, those are not as good books, especially yourself as a doctor. I think you can benefit more than just knowing the code number. Those are more like a fast learning for people who want to do become acupuncture.
Oh, I see.
Therapist.
Because the real way is the anatomy behind it, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, with the proper name and stuff, and that has much more meaning, and in further away help people analyze what are the points or how to use that.
Right.
But if just knowing a code for each,
it's too abstracted. You can't. When you know the real thing, you can understand its connection to the whole part, and slowly over time, as you put the puzzle together,
yes,
you get an understanding.
One funny example is we have an acupuncture that is called Gongsun, which old times they have their code, and later on they feel like the code name wasn't good enough, so they translated become grandpa and son, which is just like a T translation. One character means this, second character means that, so we translate that separately. So that acupuncture, or some people know as the grandpa and son and grandson, kind of a translation. But it actually that together this point is the last name of our very first legendary emperor. It shows you the power of this point. With a lot of it has the implication of this is a very powerful point. But if you just know that as a code name, or it's just as grandpa and the son, it kind of like what is this point?
Right.
So
So that's an example of knowing the real reason in the naming. You understand, hey, don't mess with this point. This is a PowerPoint. Not the Microsoft product, but sorry.
PowerPoint, yeah. Because the theory didn't change. The funny thing about TCM theory hasn't changed much. The fundamental theory doesn't change, but implication changes. And with the same disease, different doctors have different points or different prescriptions. So those are important for doctors to know how to really use that and what's the best way for this patient. Yeah.
Right, cool.
Well, I'm really talkative.
No, it's good. And thanks for the questions. Those are awesome.
Yes.
And we will see if we can find a reference. Admittedly, though, I think it is going to be hard, but we'll try. We'll do our best, and we'll leave it in the comments, or otherwise reach out and broadcast it somehow.
Right. Let's look at what are the things we can do
Gotta move over.
with this. This point is called the 大椎 acupoint, and for acne, this is a really good point, especially teenager style. Those acne are big and red. It even hurts, and usually on forehead or cheeks, that most of the time, and those ones are really you can pop them. Feels really good, but this point is really good for that kind of acne. Some people just have mini buns all over this. That could help, but not the primary one. This is really good, and also for cold or
Cold
flu,
symptoms?
early symptoms.
Right,
Yes.
okay. And that's that bump, right? Right at the base of your...
So you look down a little bit, use your hand to touch it, and you can find the highest point, where that is a little knot of your spine. Correct me if that's not called a spine or neck.
Yeah, yes, the sort
the
of...
hind one. And you put on that, you realize that when you straighten your neck, that becomes, even though your hand didn't move, that becomes slightly lower.
Oh, yeah.
Because that bone moves.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the point. And when you do Gua Sha, we will never focus on one point. So you just remember a slightly lower area of the neck. Once you start to have a little bit like sneeze or running nose, or feel a little bit drowsy, that you feel like I'm getting a
Or
cold.
watery eyes, congested, like
Yes,
any of those
that
pre-symptoms,
one.
right?
Do that. That's
So
a
if
really
you
good
don't
point.
just do it on the point, right? So you would do the back to your thing, right? 45, go a little bit over and
Right.
come down,
Yes.
and a little over,
Up,
and always
down. This is
top to
always
bottom, right?
If you're doing any of this stuff on your back, the order is always up, down.
Right.
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 And have a little shot there. That would really
So
help.
no, David, sweep down, sweep down.
Sweep down. Yes. There is some direction thing that worth mentioning, but I think just for today, kind of an introduction, talking about the Gua Sha, and talking about especially Gua Sha on the back, is you always top down scraping, release and go up and scraping down, scrape down. And if you want to also try, come here, a facial Gua Sha. This is a quite a good image that I just Google online, and it shows how to do it and the direction.
Now
In
this
fact,
is
it's
more
not
for
so
beauty,
dramatic.
right?
That's more for beauty.
So this is the one where you're saying if you don't want to have marks on your face that last, take it easy here,
Take
right?
it
Just
easy.
warm up this, feel the warmth a bit.
Right.
Maybe be in a mirror so you can see if a Sha starts to come out. Because
Yes.
people are different, right? Remember when you first did my back, they came out super fast and super dark. So
Yes.
you might want to have a mirror right there. Maybe I'm being goofy. Maybe all women don't do anything to their face without a mirror. I don't really know, but just saying.
Yeah, usually like you don't feel much. It wouldn't be very.
Won't pop out like my back, right?
No, it
Okay.
won't, because the pressure are different.
Right.
So be gentle. Let's just have like rather than we're really trying to fix a wrinkle and try too hard. Let's just try to think about stimulating the
Sorry.
circulation kind of thing. And like this is the Gua Sha board. You can see this is thicker over here, and this is thinner. I like those design too. This side I use for the back or my legs or arm where I have a little bit more layer of fat. While face I like the thicker one, so it's gentler, more gentle.
Right.
And what's missing on this picture I just noticed is
Right.
the nose.
Right. The
The
bridge.
The bridge, you can gently stroke that with this kind of curl, slightly, not slightly, gently swipe down, and same with this, how do you call that? Beside the nose, this two line, like a contour line.
I don't know, or I would tell you. Sorry.
And beside the nose, those are really good. Those can prevent with the cold. And if you are living somewhere in Canada, really cold, like us, when it's -10 or something, we have a room really warm, 22 degree, but go out it's -20.
Right.
We can just use our hand to massage this alongside the nose to warm it up. It really helps with preventing getting cold, that shock.
Right.
So it kind of will warm up the system a little bit.
Whoops.
Oh, you come back.
I got busted. I was
It
chilling
was
out.
a lunch.
I was chilling out in the back, guys. I was like,
Right.
well, I'm off cam. I'm chilling out.
Phil is very familiar with this because he does
Right,
that for me too.
These are our maintenance ones, yeah.
Yes, the 3 line here in the back, in the middle.
I've been told
one,
I'm pretty good with these lines.
Yes, those are really good. So the one on the longest red line is on our spine. That's a really good one to do Gua Sha on. This in Chinese medicine TCM, we call this line is the central yang line.
Right. That's right down the center, right?
Yeah, right down on the spine.
Yo, sorry.
Again, be gentle. It's your spine in case
Yeah.
there's any mislocator stuff. You don't want to hurt yourself. Always get familiar with it.
Yeah.
Then have a little bit of pressure. And the one beside you, if you touch your own back, you can feel those muscle lines run through the whole back. So those are those 2 lines. Those lines are also very good if you are having some, fever or stuff like a cold flu kind of fever. Help with healing too, and also with a sore waist, like the lower back.
Sorry. And good general maintenance too, right? Just
Very
good.
good general maintenance. Again, general maintenance for people who are trying to anti-aging. Kids don't have to do those things.
Good clarification.
You don't want to do because in a lot of times we talk about this is good for health, good for our wellness. In the Western concept is everybody should be like vitamin C is good. We share that. We have our kids have that. Everybody. This is different. This is the kids are pretty. They're good themselves unless they have symptoms.
Right.
Right. Some in China, if we have babies who is always like a
Colicky?
puke a lot.
Oh, puking. Spitting up a
Crying.
lot.
Right, crying at night and not sleeping. We don't do Gua Sha because it's harsh. We pinch their back alongside the spine, just a gentle massage.
Same concept though, top to
Same
bottom.
concept. Yeah.
So you're just
But,
basically using your fingers to gently
yeah.
do the same function.
But we don't do Gua Sha as much. Those are more for adults,
Right.
like us.
You need a really mini board.
Mini board. Yes. Well, most importantly is to know when not to do it, I think. If you
Right.
guys are into that, and oftentimes I actually don't see many articles or videos talking about what to watch out when doing Gua Sha because they emphasize it's really safe. Well, when it's safe, when it's used properly.
I want to just because when you said that, it reminded me of a video we did when some sort of COVID remedy or something came out, and people think, oh, it's not Western medicine, so it's really safe. It's an alternative form of medicine. I can't really hurt myself. So I really think that's ridiculous. So, and I think leaving out the precautions. So it's great that you're jumping in with precautions. So
there's a real news,
especially
like,
TCM.
somebody did Gua Sha and end up in hospital because it was too much and kidney failure. She had kidney failure, had to go to hospital and stuff. So again, if we already have been like a long time sick or just recovered from surgery, already very weak, and sometimes if we got a flu or cold but had fever for a while, right, and you're considering doing Gua Sha, be cautious because we're already weak. Can we handle it? Gua Sha is consuming as well. That's why sometimes afterwards you will feel sleepy and tired. It's all normal. So don't jump into Gua Sha when you're already weak. Consult the doctor. If the doctor said, okay, this is right and this is where you do it, then we do it. And what?
Rita is here.
Oh my God.
She said her mom told her about the pinching back thing for babies.
Yes,
and she studied a lot of TCM as well.
Yes.
Cool.
Those are really helpful. My nephew used to be really a grouchy baby. Doesn't sleep, like a
colicky, we call that.
Oh, colicky?
Yeah, just in general, cry all day, cry all night, doesn't sleep well. Yeah, I think we call that a colicky baby. Yeah,
as much, so it was, those were the quite a popular way now for people to help with babies situation.
It is ridiculous. Herbal remedies can create liver symptoms that appear as hepatitis. Right. Vis-a-vis our comment about because it's not Western medicine, you can't hurt yourself. Yeah, it's a totally dangerous attitude. So we want to, and like we were saying, like a lot of it's mostly in the beauty channel. So they're mostly focusing on gentle face Gua Sha. So it's not too bad,
right.
but the Western approach of I don't want you to think I'm like anti-consumerism or anything, but the Western consumer approach is more is better often gets taken with things like diets and remedies and things like that. And, that's just not the case.
Like that. Those I call that Instagram Gua Sha therapy, not
Instagram
the TCM Gua Sha therapy.
Yeah, IG Gua Sha.
Yeah, this is a beautiful beauty necklace, but we don't do Gua Sha like that. And sometimes you will see people posting Gua Sha pictures, the whole back is purple, almost look like a bruise or burned kind of severeness.
Wow.
A lot of them are not done properly or by real, follow the doctor's suggestions and stuff like that. I guess one of the reasons is that sometimes people feel like they don't know much about that. The safety concern is primary, but I feel like while you don't want people to overly scared by those new things or foreign things, we also have to tell them to watch out. Because in Europe, there was some case of people taking one of the Chinese medicine. It's a pre-made medicine that you can buy in the pharmacies. And
in a Chinese pharmacy.
Chinese pharmacy and its approval. But what happened was the people, because it has a detox effect and making people they use that for weight loss and eating that for 2 or 3 months straight, trying to lose weight with that medicine, and end up have a liver failure and stuff. Then so there was a big thing about it. I just want to point out and those all the TCM are safe when it's properly used, just like any medical stuff. I think it needs a real. You cannot just take that randomly and for random purpose. Anyways, biggest thing after Gua Sha, do not do that. I found many people not mention, even with facial Gua Sha afterwards, no matter how oily it is, do not touch water. Do not touch water, and avoid cold wind or even the direct AC wind hit or stuff for at least 2 hours. Because our pores are open and we're more likely to get a cold. Yeah,
and just to be clear, that doesn't mean don't get water on the spot you did the Gua Sha. It means don't touch water. You did your back, don't get water on your hands. You did your face, don't get water on your hands. Don't have a shower, Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Because my first reaction, the first time I tried it, I don't like to be oily. So my back was all oily. And I'm like, can I get a shower? And it's like a big fat no. And then I forget. I sometimes forget and wash my hands or something, and I get yelled at. It's just awful.
It's not as bad. At least he uses like a warm water, and his hand, we don't do gua sha.
I'm better now. I now know, like after that,
ideally, we don't want that. It's later on, I hope if we have a chance, we can explain this kind of concepts a little bit more, so that it, you know, it's weird, but you know why it's so weird. And last thing to mention is about what's the best time, what's the best symptoms or things we use gua sha for. If we're already very weak and people more have the cold symptom, our properties shows more of a cold symptoms, gua sha is not your first choice for health and wellness. Gua sha is ideal for people who shows more of heat symptoms and area blockage. So heat symptom like acne is a great one. Stinky breath, that even mouthwash or brush, like a regular hygiene doesn't fix it. Kind of
halitosis.
Yeah, breath issues and swollen gum, like consistent have an infection in the
or
gum.
bleeding gums, yeah.
Bleeding gums, and always want craving ice cold water and drink a lot of water and always.
I'm going to tell a bleeding gum story because it's so funny. When we were sort of a young couple, first met, my gums bleed all the time when I floss or brush my teeth. Not all the time when I brush, but when I floss for sure. And she said, "Oh, you a little bit too much meat in your diet." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I thought maybe because she thought the meat was getting stuck in my teeth or whatever, but meat is hot, has a hot character. And I thought it was just total hooey, total baloney. But my gums don't bleed anymore at all. I have a much more balanced diet. I still eat meat. I'm not certainly not a vegetarian. But really does make a big difference, like those heat.
And if you eat a lot of meat and stuff, you naturally gravitate towards the cold waters because your body has that heat. It needs cold stuff.
Alcohol, same, which is also hot. If I have a couple beers or whatever, it's much more likely my gums.
It happens after lamb. Lamb is very hot too.
Yeah.
But winter is coming. We love to have lamb in the winter.
Hot pot.
Hot pot. Yes. Wow, I have been talking the whole time almost.
Yeah, good one.
Yes.
So we covered the precautions.
Yes.
Yeah, see if there's any more questions. No, that's it. I see that David put, I think, like his full title. So MD and DDS. I think is that, I hope I don't make a fool of myself. I think that's Doctor of Dental Surgery. Is that right? I think that's what DDS. I don't know. I'm just checking. So that's really cool. And I was thinking the bleeding gums might be interesting for that. So
right.
now
because we got a suggestion that we should get a
water pick
to help with his bleeding and stuff, but eventually now it's just
it's better.
Yeah.
I did that, and I just slow down and just be careful when I floss and do a good job instead of rush, which was my old habit. Just finish that in less than 1 minute. I love Chinese medicine. Please give me any book recs. Yeah, for sure. We'll shoot some book recommendations your way if we can find some. I'm a little concerned it'll be hard to find.
If you really like Chinese medicine, I think for any Chinese interested people, or even the very first book for those medical school students is Huangdi Neijing, which lays the ground, the fundamental theories.
We'll put that in the description down below. Can we put that, like spell that out? Because that's a bit tricky. I didn't. Huangdi
Neijing is a book that is very ancient, but it tells in general the theory, the fundamental theory about TCM.
It's the classic of tea for TCM kind of deal.
Yes, #1 book to read.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So keep your eye on the description. We'll throw that down there.
Medical doctor and dental surgery. Oh, wow.
I think. I'm not sure.
That's what he said.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I didn't see the new comment pop up. Right on.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Cool. And Yeah, so that's been awesome. Any other questions? It was super awesome that Rita popped in. And David, thanks for coming back. Well, I'm glad that you're interested in the TCM stuff. I know it's a big topic that we both love too, so we'll see if we can't throw a little more wellness up on there.
Right.
And
well, thank you very much for joining us yesterday and today. I'm very flattered to have a doctor here, and honestly, if you can help me out with all those terms, I think it's very good for me to learn about how to translate, how to say that more proper for people to understand that better, especially with medical terms. So
yeah, great.
yes,
well,
Rita.
we can't see you, Rita, but it's great kind of pseudo hanging out with you. We haven't seen you in so long. And stay tuned. We're going to try and get a little habit of doing these sort of fun tea time.
Yeah, we're doing that once
with
a
a little
week,
topic. The topic's just more to give it some fun, but it's
but
still fun to hang
feel
out.
free to shoot anything up. You don't have to always talk about this kind of related stuff. We're just finding some topics to chit chat, and you guys can shoot up anything you want to chat.
Yeah. So what's coming up? So coming up, we got later in the month we've got a Zisha teapot. Purple clay, blue clay. A purple clay. Jen's going to talk about purple clay with a.
This week's and this month's presentation.
Yeah,
we want to talk about. I want to talk about the Zisha teapot. Let's kind of dig into, but also look at some basics of it. I found that a lot of times people were talking quite fancy, while some basic terms were a little bit.
Yeah, everybody loves to dive into the sort of stuff that makes them sound really cool and stuff, which is nothing wrong with that, but I think it's really good.
I just want to help fill in a little blanks.
Exactly, and get back to the basics. I'm just having a quick look at next week too. We got
I think next week we're
our light chit chat, right?
Light chit chat to talk about stress, anger, and all that.
Right, that's right. Stress relief and anger, anger management.
Anger.
But that's a tea time, kind of like this one.
Yeah, just like this. Have some tea. Talk about again a little bit of TCM's approach and how to look at it, and stuff.
We'll see if we can throw in some fair use of Jack Nicholson's movie Anger Management. That could be fun. Let's throw in a couple clips of that.
Right.
Sunday Tea Book is always coming up. Sunday at 1 p.m. Episode 20, I believe, 20.
Wow. Lemmer.
Wow. Right? Episode 20. So we're in the dark tea section. So we'll be talking about Shen and Shu Pu'er. You do not want to miss that if you're into Shen and Shu Pu'er, or if you're not into it, you probably still don't want to miss it because it's going to be super interesting.
You prove this shirt, it doesn't affect you.
Another great book that really just gets back to basics and doesn't skip over and reminds you the fundamentals you should consider when you're, thinking about tea, rather than dive into this super technical, stuff that is also important, but not if you forget the basics. And so super fun times on YouTube coming up. Stay tuned and keep an eye on our website too. Lots of cool stuff going to be happening there soon as more stuff and more tea comes out. Some stuff might be coming in soon. Spoiler alert. And I think that's about it. So great to see you guys again. Great to hang out. I'm glad YouTube didn't break tonight. We didn't break it tonight. We broke it last night. Global breakdown of YouTube started right here for some reason. I'm just making all that up, but it's fun. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
No, not at all.
Click subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you'll know when we make new videos.
And thank you guys for joining us. It has been very fun, and have a lovely night.
Yeah. Until next time.
Keep steeping.
Keep steeping.